It brought back the weight of farewells, the hush of unspoken things, the ghosts of memories I thought I'd long buried. But that night in Madrid, the rain wasn't just rain. It was something new beginning, something I hadn't seen coming. The downpour had caught me midway across the plaza. My shoes were soaked through, hair plastered to my skin, mascara likely smeared beyond saving. I ducked into the first café I spotted, a cozy little place, warm with the scent of cinnamon and espresso curling in the air. That's when I saw him, sitting alone by a fogged-up window, a book in one hand, a steaming cup in the other. His eyes lifted to mine, not questioning, more like an invitation. He arched an eyebrow ever so slightly, then gestured toward the empty seat across from him. I could have walked away, maybe I should have, but there was something in that look that tightened around my chest. So I sat. First we didn't speak. Just listened, to the rain beating against the windows, the soft whir of the espresso machine, the faint jazz drifting from overhead speakers. Then he said, "You look like you're trying to outrun something." I laughed short, honest. "A few things," I admitted. "The storm. Memory. Maybe even myself." He smiled with just the corner of his mouth. "You're welcome to sit here a while. I'm not going anywhere." His name was Elias. Born in Spain, living in Berlin, back in Madrid for a wedding he had no desire to attend. I told him I was an artist, fresh off a heartbreak, on a solo journey that was supposed to patch me up. Spoiler alert, it hadn't worked. We sat there for hours talking about cities we loved. About the strange difference between being touched and being truly felt. About love, the kind that stays and the kind that shatters. Eventually the cafe closed. We stepped outside beneath the awning, watching the rain taper into a soft drizzle. He glanced at me and said, "I don't want this to be over yet." "Then let's not let it be," I answered. His place was just 3 blocks away. We walked quietly, close enough that our shoulders nearly touched, our fingers brushing now and then like they were testing the idea of something more. His apartment was warm. Wooden floors, low lighting, and walls adorned with art that spoke of someone who felt everything in color and ache. He asked if I wanted tea. I told him no. I didn't want tea. He stepped toward me slowly. One hand cupped my cheek, the other hovered at my hip, barely grazing, like he was asking without words if he could come closer. I gave a small nod. Then his mouth was on mine. It wasn't hurried. It wasn't awkward. It was patient and deep. Like every kiss drew out something from inside me I hadn't realized I'd hidden. He lifted me gently, and instinct took over. My legs wrapped around his waist, my back pressed to the wall, my fingers tangled in his hair. His breath was warm against my throat. His voice a low murmur I couldn't understand, but I felt every word like a pulse under my skin. We found our way to his room, stripping away clothing like shedding old sorrow. There were no rules, no definitions. Just breath, heat, skin. His hands moved over me with both care and hunger. He kissed me like he'd waited a lifetime for that moment. And I let go of the ache, the weight I'd been carrying for far too long. I let him see every part of me, and for the first time in ages, I didn't feel the need to hide. I wasn't ashamed. Not with him. Sleep barely touched us that night. And when morning came, sunlight spilled gently through the window, casting golden streaks across his chest. His arm draped around me like I belonged there. I watched him breathe, memorized the way his body rose and fell with each breath, smiled. Maybe it was only one night. Maybe we were just 2 souls who crossed paths at the exact moment we both needed someone. But that night reminded me of something I'd forgotten. That desire isn't something to be ashamed of. That healing can live in silence and soft touches. That sometimes when you least expect it, the rain can bring you back to life.